Hello, everybody, and welcome to the webinar. Today, we're going to talk about how artificial intelligence is revolutionizing the non-PO invoice automation. We think this is really exciting topic and hope we can provide you some real value today during this webinar. We are super happy and super excited that there are so many professionals attending this webinar today. So thanks for attending this webinar. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, and hopefully you enjoy this 30-45 minutes. We are definitely enjoying. So this broadcast is coming from dark Helsinki. It's rainy and dark here. Hopefully we get some snow before the Christmas comes, but let's see.
Let's see. My name is Tuomas Hapsari. I am the Chief Growth Officer in Snowfox.
And Miikka Savolainen, I'm the one with the glasses here, and working as a COO in Snowfox AI. My own background is from the financial domain, so I've been working on 20 years in the domain, outsourcing services, establishing some shared services centers in the Central Eastern Europe region, Poland mainly. So knowing pretty much about the things what we are discussing today. And please, if you have any questions during the presentation, just shoot us in the chat. So whatever you want to ask, whatever interests you, just ask in the chat.
Absolutely, and we will take those questions during the webinar, so do not hesitate. And by the way, other attendees don't see your question, so only we can see the question. So don't hesitate.
Please don't hesitate. Ask whatever.
Yes.
Yes, good. And the agenda, Tuomas.
Yes.
Agenda for today. So we have divided our presentation or the discussion here on the 7 different points. So first of all, we will start from the question that why non-PO automation level is still so low. Then, of course, why you should be interested and in order to increase the non-PO automation. After that, what AI can do in automating the non-PO. And this is I would say, the most important thing, because AI really, as we said, can revolutionize this whole automation thing. Then how the AI works, so how it learns, how it develops over the time, so on. Then how AI connects to all AP automation systems. So as I said, typically these are really system independent services. Then we have a couple of real customer examples. So what our customers have been able to benefit by using the AI automation in order to automate their non-PO processes. And then as a last topic, we will introduce the 3 steps how to implement the AI.
Okay, thank you, Miikka. And first, let's begin with POs. So as we all know, the PO invoices and the contract-based invoices are being actually matched and automated quite well nowadays. Of course, there are still some issues, but we see that at least 60-70% of PO invoices are being automated through invoice matching.
Yeah, and then all the systems are supporting PO invoices very well.
Absolutely. This is one reason why we see that companies are heavily trying to increase the amount of PO invoices and kind of trying to force everybody to only buy PO based.
And this is also right way of doing things, and there are also other reasons. For example, get the spend under control.
Absolutely, get the visibility. But we see that at the same time, the non-PO automatization is almost forgotten.
Yes.
Not entirely forgotten, but almost. The main focus is on POs and contract matching. And when it comes to non-PO invoices, the level of automation drops dramatically compared to the POs. And the typical levels we are seeing are actually between 10 to 30% within non-POs. That means that 70% to 90% are being handled absolutely manually.
So there is a great potential in automating this.
That is well put. There is very well our great potential within non-POs. And why haven't they been automized today? We see a couple of different reasons for that. And one is that automating non-PO invoices requires a lot of work. It's lots of manual work creating those rule-based automation rules. And still most of the non-POs are even impossible to automate with the rule-based automation.
Yeah, and there is many reasons behind that. Yeah.
And you as professionals know those reasons very well, and you have been working with these. So the question is that why to automate also the non-POs if it's so hard, so complicated? And of course, one reason is that manual handling of non-PO invoices cost around 8 to 15 euros per invoice. So it's a lot of money. It's very expensive. So of course, we want to automate those as well.
Yes.
And we have seen that the most time-consuming activities are the manual posting and routing of non-PO invoices. And what it really means? It means time wasted for accounts payable and business as well, because we see that most of the companies, the posting is done by business people. It also means longer circulation times because of much manual processes and manual work.
And steps. So there are many steps where the invoice stops.
Absolutely. And it also means missed payment term discounts because of the longer circulation times. And it means worse reporting quality because of variety in postings. Because many people do the postings, they are doing it differently.
Yeah. So the same cost can be booked differently or posted differently based on what's the feeling of the person. I think Tuomas, you have not never done that, or because in your previous job when you were posting yourself the invoices. So
absolutely, I used to be a head of marketing in a pretty mid-sized company, something like 400 million of revenues per year. So I was responsible for marketing cost center for so I was doing lots and lots of manual posting.
Yeah.
So even in myself, there was huge variety in postings because I was doing that a lot. And
but don't tell anybody. So
I won't tell. I won't tell. But you know. So this is why we think that also non-PO invoices should be automated ASAP. And please, do you agree or disagree? If you agree or disagree, please send us your ideas within the control panel question box. So please tell me what you guys think.
So as we have mentioned already many times, and we really believe and we have seen that the AI is definitely the key to automating the posting and routing, so automating the processing the non-PO invoices. And the AI brings definitely something really new what we haven't seen in the automation level. And as stated there on the bottom of the slide, it's also easiest and the quickest way to increase the non-PO automation. And we will tell how it is like this. So today, AI is capable of doing for the non-PO invoices the automatic posting. It's able to route the invoices automatically for the right reviewer, for the right approver. It gives the real-time analytics, how the things are working, and there is much more coming when we learn how to utilize the AI more. We will come each of those topics, of course, more on detailed level.
Please, Miikka, tell us how the AI actually learns and develops over time, because I see this really interesting because it's so different to rule-based automation.
Yeah, it is, and that's actually the very basis of the AI or the machine learning models. So as said, we have the very, I would say, normal typical thing how the AI works and what we have developed on the machine learning. So first of all, everything starts from the data. And then when we are talking about AI and the models, and this kind of purchase invoice process, we always start with the historic data. So in our case, it means invoices, historic invoices, and the posting data of those invoices. And let's say typically we are asking from 3 months, let's say 3 months data, and then starting from 3 months data, and an optimal would be 6 months or more. But with 3 months, we also are able to do our work. So with that historic data, we train our model or models depending on the case, and meaning that we have developed kind of the AI AP processes into our model, and then with the historic data we train those. If we take, for example, a company who has a 200,000 purchase invoices or non-PO purchase invoices annually, the training of the model takes 1 to 2 hours. So it's really fast. And when the training of the model means that the model goes through every single invoice and how it has been posted. So every single invoice and how it has been posted. And the model learns from there and builds the kind of rules that how this kind of invoice should be posted, how this kind of invoice should be routed in the organization, and it also does not forget anything. It's a little bit different than me or Tuomas would do
At least me.
how we would be trained. So and maybe we would forget even something, but it really remembers everything. And then it's ready to work. So when the new purchase invoice comes to the service, first of all, it recognizes all the information from the invoice. It does not rely on 1 or 2 or 3 data of the invoice, for example, who is the supplier or what is the bank account or this kind of information. It recognizes and reads all the information from the invoice which is available. It actually doesn't matter if it's an invoice image or scanned invoice, is it a PDF or is it a structured data. It reads all the information from the invoice and utilizes that in order to make the prediction for the posting, for the routing. The service gives the prediction, and for example, if we take the posting, it can predict based on the customer. So and it does it on dimension per dimension. So for example, the account, cost center, VAT, project, whatever there are the dimensions. Actually, the most complicated customer what we have currently, we are predicting for them 14 different dimensions. So it can be whatever. And then we give this invoice with the posting and routing predictions to the customer system, to the customer normal processes. So it goes to the invoice reviewer who checks the invoice, of course. Is the invoice according what has been ordered, what has been purchased, but also how is the posting
line?
Yeah, how is the posting line? And still, the AI might do some mistakes. So the reviewer should, of course, check that what are the let's say the postings here. And for example, if the cost center is predicted as a cost center X and it should be cost center Y, the reviewer should change it there. And then it goes to the approver, and then it's ready to be booked to the accounting. And that same information actually comes to us. So when the invoice is ready to be booked, we receive the same information. So we get the kind of the final posting. So we can see how the invoice was posted. And if there were some changes done during the approval process, for example, this change in the cost center, the AI recognizes that, okay, I made a mistake here. So next time I need to do it differently. Maybe it does not change its behavior after one mistake, but anyway, definitely after the second mistake, it will automatically learn and correct the way of working. And also the correct ones are important because they are strengthening the learning, strengthening the way the AI is doing the predictions. And then from that information also we do the real-time analytics, real-time reporting, which we of course report on dimension basis how the predictions were performing, what were the results, same as on invoice level, and so on and so on. So it gives for the customer the real transparency how the predictions are working, how we are performing in our service.
What I see very fascinating is that the AI really gets the feedback for every single invoice it has predicted. Exactly. And learns automatically from every single invoice.
Yes.
So this is something very unique that human being can never do.
Yes. Yes. And you know, adding on top of that, you mentioned the human. It's also important in this when we are talking about this kind of loop here that there is the human involved. As said,
the
AI still makes at sometimes some mistakes. So it's important that also that the human trains, even though that they don't see that they are training, but anyway that they make sure that everything is correct and so on.
Exactly.
And of course there are less and less mistakes.
Yes.
When the model when they are learning over the time.
We have a question here that what are the typical accuracies within predictions?
That's a good one. That's a good one. Of course, it depends on the customer industry, how much we have, and especially how much we have the historic data, what we can receive. The less data, typically, then also the results are lower. The prediction levels are lower, and the more data, the better are the results.
How about in the average?
Yeah, in the average, I was just coming on that. So the customers what we are serving currently, on average we have a little bit over 80% correction level. Over all dimensions what we are predicting. There is of course difference on dimensions, but on average over 80% currently.
That's huge. So a little bit deeper about predicting the posting and routing. First of all, just like Mika mentioned before, each dimension is being predicted separately. So this gives us really good results because we are predicting each dimension separately, and it actually requires lots of calculation power for our AI to do it separately. Then you want to talk about the confidence value.
Yes. So when we do the prediction per dimension, for every single prediction what the AI is doing, it also calculates the confidence value. Meaning that, for example, when it gives this prediction of, for example, this cost center X, and in this case, when it was wrong, most probably the confidence value also what it gives for that prediction was lower. For example, 40%, which means that the AI was unsure if it's correct or not the prediction. When it's more confident, the confidence values are typically 80, 90% what it gives for those predictions. And then, as said, the confidence value is calculated for each and every dimension and prediction given.
That is very useful. And as mentioned also before, the AI uses all the information from the purchase invoice, including the invoice images.
Yes, yes. So it actually doesn't matter when we're talking about the images, if it's a scanned image or PDF or so on. It reads everything and then utilizes all the information from there. And to be mentioned here, we are not replacing, for example, the scanning operator or scanning service provider. We are reading those images, PDFs, for the purposes of our AI models algorithms, so that they can have as much as possible the data.
Yes, and more accurate predictions.
Exactly.
And to be mentioned, we have no limits on the amount of dimensions. So some of our customers might have like 4 or 5 dimensions, and some I think you mentioned already that the most complicated customer of ours has 14 dimensions.
Yes, exactly.
So no matter.
Yeah, and as I said, those are always customer specific things, and it actually then the number of dimension can even vary inside the customer. So some parts of the organizations and some divisions are using, for example, 10 dimensions, and the other divisions they are using only 7 out of those 10, and whatever. So it really can vary even inside one customer. And then we have here example how the prediction could look like. So there is a prediction including 6 different dimensions, so including account, VAT, cost center, and so on. So in this case, the prediction of account has been cleaning, so it most probably was a cleaning service, and as this 99% there means that the AI was really confident about this prediction, so almost 100%. So the second prediction there, second dimension is VAT, SE24, and then the confidence level there was a 97%, and so on and so on. So prediction could look like this. And then there is also predicted that how the invoice should be circulated. So what's the approval process? And in this case, the AI proposes that the reviewer should be Matt Smith with 94% confidence level, and the acceptor Lily McKenzie. So this is just an example how the prediction could look like.
Yes. Thanks, Mika. And then let's talk a little bit about how the AI connects with API automation systems. So we have a ready-made API interfaces that makes connecting our service to the API automation systems very easy. And there are mentioned couple of AP or P2P systems that we have already connected with. Palette, Opus Capita, SAP, Microsoft, Xflow, and Passware, and so on. And there are lots and lots of more P2P systems to come, actually in the implementation process as well.
Yes.
But let's go through the process and the architecture, how it connects with us. First of all, when your supplier sends you an invoice, the invoice will come to your P2P system through your invoice operator, usually. The operator transfers the invoice into your P2P system, and when it arrives into your P2P system, the system first checks if there is some automation in place for this invoice. So first of all, if it will find a PO number, it will match it with the PO number, with the PO, and then if it finds, for example, order number, it will match it with the order. And if it does not find any automation for this invoice, it will send the invoice to our service within the API, with the API, and the Snowfox AI will predict the routing and the posting for the invoice. And after predicting these values, Snowfox will send it back to your P2P system. And this actually takes just seconds, so it does not affect your process at all. And then the P2P system will send the invoice automatically to your approval process with the postings.
Yeah.
And just like Mika mentioned before, it will go through your approval process, and after it's been approved and it's ready to be booked, we will receive the final postings and the final flow, and the AI will compare its predictions to the final values, so that we will get the information if everything was correct, or if there were some mistakes. And all this data will go to our real-time reporting, that our customers can see real-time how well the AI is working, and if there has been some mistakes, what have been the mistakes. And this is dimension by dimension and invoice by invoice. And of course, you can see the timelines and everything, how the AI has actually been learning over time. So because of these easy or ready-made API interfaces, it's really easy to do the connection. It takes usually 3-4 weeks
Yes.
in calendar time
Yes.
to do the connection.
One comment here. So when we are connecting to the P2P system, so where we have the APIs ready, we connect always on the process on that stage, as Thomas mentioned, that all the system's internal automation is utilized. And if that cannot be utilized, so the invoice would go to the manual process. Otherwise, then it comes to us.
Yeah.
And then we give the predictions so that we are able to automate let's say the normal manual process, but in the future it will be automated. That
yes.
process.
And we have a great question here, actually, Mika, regarding to this process and regarding the pricing models.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a good place to talk a little bit about the pricing models.
I love the pricing model discussion.
Absolutely, because we are automating the processes. Our pricing actually is based on automation.
Yes.
If we can increase the automation or not, our customers only pay us for the correct predictions.
Yes.
Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So our pricing model is based on transactions, and transaction is the invoice. And so we give a price per invoice and per predicted dimension, and we only charge from those predictions which are correct. So when we have been able to automate the customer process, and then how we do check if we did the prediction correct or not. So kind of in our language we call it as a validation. So we give a prediction, the invoice goes through the approval process, and after the approval process we checked if there was changes done. If there were any change done during the approval process, for us it means that we didn't predict correctly, so we don't charge of those. So that's the I would say the main thing.
Exactly. And when you think that we are actually only taking those invoices into our system that otherwise would have to be handled manually,
yes,
our pricing is way cheaper compared to the manual process.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
that is the promise.
And I can tell you we come back to this business case.
Yes.
A little bit later here.
Yeah, let's do that. And to be mentioned just quickly was regarding the question that we have a very minor fixed fee for the implementation.
Yes, and it's a fixed fee. And
Yes.
to be mentioned here also, I think it's important. We don't have any daily or hourly charges. So we have only this transaction charge, and then we have the fixed charge, and that's it.
Yes.
Very transparent for our customers.
And maybe that's one reason why we have no churn. No customer have decided not to work with us.
And also the feedback has been that there is no need to push you Snowbox guys, because you actually want to have the same thing happen as we do.
Absolutely. But no more selling. Let's have a look at some numbers then. Mika, please.
Yes. So we have a couple of real examples of our customers here. First is this Mehiläinen, working on private healthcare sector. They have roughly 250,000 non-PO purchase invoices annually. And before they started to use Snowfox AI, their level of automation was roughly 25%. And good to notice that the process is so that the posting is done by the business people, not the AP people, but the business people. So in the organization. And when they started to use Snowfox in 2018, one of our first customers, we were able to increase the posting automation almost up to 80%. So really dramatic increase on the posting automation, which actually has been decreasing the work done on the business side. So the people who were previously doing the posting on the business side, they have more time now to focus on their let's say the most important thing what they are doing. And then on the routing automation, we were able to increase the automation level up to 90%. So that was really huge increase also there.
Yes, and these are very typical numbers.
Yes, and I said these are the non-PO invoices.
Absolutely, and we see that the non-POs are actually the hardest ones to automate.
Exactly.
So it's pretty amazing. Another one is Renta Group. Their number of non-PO purchase invoices is a little bit lower, around 40,000 per year, and their automation level was roughly 10%, so a little lower as well. And they had the same kind of process that the posting work was done by the business people. And when they started using our service, we were able to increase their posting automation up to 80%. And I think nowadays it's close to 85% already. And they of course have to do the manual postings only for exceptions.
Yes.
So it's pretty huge increase.
Yeah. And then as a third example, we have the Provera. They do have roughly 80,000 non-PO invoices annually. The automation level was 5% before starting to use our service. And again, similar kind of process. The posting work was done by the business people here. We also have customers who are doing the posting on the AP, but in these cases, I can see that we have selected only those who are doing the posting on the business side. And the automation levels, again, on the posting, 80%, and on the routing, 90%. So a huge increase on the automation level. And to summarize these customer examples, as we have mentioned, the AI is the really good way to automate the non-PO invoice process. And actually, all this automation has done really fast. Of course, these figures which we are showing here, they are after some time. So as said, these models are also learning, but typically we can jump directly to the 70% level, and then start from there when we do the training of our models. So it starts from the 70% from the day you start to use the service, and then it starts to improve from there. Good. And then I think we have our last topic, so the 3 steps.
Yes, and 3 steps are pretty easy, actually. This topic is very new. We are processing lots of non-PO invoices already, but there are lots of companies that have not been utilized AI for the non-PO invoice automation. So this is why we want to provide you a free trial, which means that we are actually going to build you a real AI models with your real invoice and posting data. It means that we only need from 3 to 6 months of historic invoices and the related posting data. And with that data, we are able to build those models, AI models for you, and see how it actually works and how well our AI models are being able to automate your processes. And this is something that we report you with the real data and the numbers, that how well can we do our job for posting and routing, of course. That is the first step.
Yes, and then the report which we are doing based on this trial gives you the real figures, how we are able to automate your non-PO processes, and it also gives you the tools to calculate the business case, because there you can see that how much you are able to automate and what's the need of manual work after the automation. And of course, we are as interested as you are regarding the results. As we said, our model, how we do the pricing, is that we only charge from those correct predictions. So when we are able to automate your processes, so therefore we are also interested to see that how well we are able to work with your data.
Yes, and you don't have to commit to anything.
Yes, that's a good point, because we do the trial without any further commitment.
Yes. So, and if you like the results, and if you align with pricing, then of course we make a contract and then do the implementation, which take usually 3 to 4 weeks of calendar time.
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
the real work is just a couple of days.
Yeah.
But the calendar time with testing and so on, it takes 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah. I think we forget to mention that together with these trial results, we also give an offer.
Absolutely.
So based on those results, so as said, you are able to calculate your business case. And what we have seen is typically is one of the best business cases what you find on the how to automate the non-PO invoices.
Yes. If you have any questions, you can ask them right now. We can take your questions still. If you don't, you can of course come back to me or Miikka, send us an email. You don't see our email addresses right now, but you have received an email from me, Tuomas. So you can send me an email or contact with us on LinkedIn or however you want to.
Yeah.
But hopefully you got some new information about how the AI works and how the AI is able to automate your non-PO invoice handling process.
Yes.
So thank you so much for joining this webinar, and have a great Christmas time and happy holidays.
Thank you also from my side.
Thank you. Bye-bye.